Welcome to the Radio Chewy experience. Chewy is a high-speed, turbulent ride, utilizing loud music and sarcasm to achieve full effect. Pregnant women, those with motion sickness, and humorless freaks should not ride. Please keep hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Before leaving, please wait for the ride to come to a full and complete stop. Enjoy the ride.
Release the hound! It's a Super 70s weekend. Another edition of the Radio Chewy experience. Hope you feel like dancing. Well, Leo Sayer and myself will help you along with the biggest hits of the 70s and more. Right here on That 70s Channel. With the biggest hits of the 70s and more. Roberta Flack on That 70s Channel. Yeah, your number one place for fun is That 70s Channel. Do you know what's sexy? Having two morning shows. We still have JD and company here on the West Coast, but for our friends out on the East Coast, we now have Van Camp and Morgan. Van Camp and Morgan will get you going at 5 Eastern, and JD and company at 6 Pacific, weekdays on That 70s Channel. Golden Earring with Radar Love on your number one place for fun, That 70s Channel. You got the Radio Chewy experience, and right after the break, something off of the Chicago 4 album. But now, in the news. I was reading a local story that a family was kicked out of their private Catholic school because the mom has a side hustle as a model on OnlyFans. Some anonymous people were sending the school administrators pics from the mother's page to influence their decision. The family is a bit upset about it and finds the ruling to be un-Catholic of them. Side note, mom makes upwards of $150,000 US per month with her OnlyFans page. My thoughts, like it really matters, right? Number one, I think it was actually kind of nice of those anonymous people to subscribe to her site to gather the evidence. Number two, it's a private school. They can do whatever they want. I have absolutely no gripe about that. Number three, I do think, however, that it was kind of stupid of them because, she could have donated to them big time. And number four, on a personal note, I think I should do a reverse OnlyFans. Where you give me money to not show my bits and pieces on the internet. Sound like a good plan? What do you mean that's a terroristic threat? With the biggest hits of the 70s and more, That 70s Channel, time for a little funk and soul from a band out of Long Beach, California. Number 6 during the summer of 75, here's War. Why can't we be friends? On That 70s Channel. Ah, yeah. Your number one place for fun is That 70s Channel. Layla was inspired by a love story that originated in 7th century Arabia. It's Derek and the Dominoes on That 70s Channel. Playing absolutely the biggest hits of the 70s and more. Santana with Black Magic Woman on That 70s Channel. Walter Egan along with the biggest hits of the 70s and more on That 70s Channel. And I, your humble, lovable shoeshine boy, Chewy, am back by popular demand, Mike's Dad Joke. My friend Mike spams me with these things all the time, and you, my friend, get to share in my pain. You ready? Are we ever? I'm reading a new book about anti-gravity. Yeah, it's impossible to put down. Thank you. Ringo Starr is next on That 70s Channel. Well, look here, it is your number one place for fun, That 70s Channel. Van Allen Clinton McCoy out of Washington, D.C. has about 700 songs to his credit for artists like Gladys Knight and the Pips, The Stylistics, Aretha Franklin, David Ruffin, Peaches and Herb, and Leslie Gore, among others. This song here is what we know him for best. Number one in the U.S., Canada, and Spain. Cracked the top 10 just about everywhere else. 1 million records sold, and a Grammy for Best Pop Instrumental Performance in 1976. Come on now, let's do the hustle on That 70s Channel. The biggest hits of the 70s and more on That 70s Channel. Studio B is becoming so popular, that we're not only going to be opening up the doors an hour earlier tonight, but we're also expanding it to a full 6 hours. The biggest party on the planet starts right after I finish up here. 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, exclusively on That 70s channel. The biggest hits of the 70s and more. That 70s channel. From their fourth album, One of These Nights, Take It to the Limit's actually a good example of the Southern California sound, a mix of country, folk, and rock that the Eagles became known for. Listen to the biggest hits of the 70s and more. The Osmonds down by the Lazy River on That 70s channel during a super 70s weekend. Janice Ian is on the way in time for what the what? People love different toppings on pizza, but somebody in Iowa thought it would be a dandy idea to put Fruit Loops, you know, the breakfast cereal that asks us to follow our nose, on pizza. The pizza is produced by Fong's Pizza in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and is listed on the restaurant's menu in the breakfast section as Loopy Fruit Pizza because, you know, I guess you don't want to get sued. The dessert-style pizza, and I'm using the word pizza loosely, features a sweet cream cheese sauce, mozzarella, and the fruity cereal on top. No. With the divide on whether pineapple belongs on pizza, and it does, can we all agree that this is an abomination? If not, I don't think we could be friends. It is your number one place for fun, That 70s channel. This song is done completely with keyboards, synthesizers, and drums in the background, but no guitars. Gary Wright realized the song sounded fine without it, and I agree.
I've just closed.
The biggest hits of the 70s and more. That 70s channel. Would you like to get your hands on some really cool radio swag on the cheap? Well, all weekend we got you covered with 15% off of everything at the Emporium. Hoodies, mugs, hats, t-shirts, and more. It's the Emporium, and you can find it worldwide at that70schannel.com. It is your number one place for fun, That 70s channel. Before we had The Voice or American Idol, we had The Gong Show. And that's where Cheryl Lynn was discovered. And in case you're wondering, no, she didn't belch out the ABCs to win. The biggest hits of the 70s and more. That 70s channel, Al Stewart. And this wraps up another fun-filled edition of the Radio Chewy Experience. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Stick around. Less than 15 minutes away from Bud dropping the red velvet rope and opening up the golden doors to the biggest party on the planet. Studio B, next on That 70s channel.